Hello everyone, welcome back to A Beautiful Life. I am your host, Amanda. So this week we're digging into the nervous system a bit, a little tiny bit about the brain. Now there's a lot to know about the nervous system and the brain in general. In fact, you could probably end up in a 1-week seminar and still be close to not knowing everything about the nervous system because it's that complex. This is because your brain is part of your nervous system. Now, your brain is so complex that scientists don't even fully understand it. The brain is just so complicated. This is why I love research. This is why I love studying. I love adding to my arsenal of knowledge. However, I will admit the brain is not necessarily my forte. It's also not necessarily where I like to focus my time, unless for a specific reason. And if I have a specific client who requires that type of research. My grandmother is amazing. She loves studying the brain. It is something that she finds utter joy in. But for me personally, I do appreciate it. I don't find joy in it. So I've learned a lot of the basics and I have dug into specific parts of the brain. However, my knowledge in that particular area is very minimal. Like, for example, we talked about the pineal gland. That is a part of your brain. We are going to talk about more the hormones related to the brain as far as the endocrine system and all of that. So we will be talking about that, and I do know minimal knowledge in that area, but the nervous system is really where I focus my time and my effort. So even though I have done research, I have mostly done research in other parts that connect to the brain, and that's the nervous system and its interactions with the body as a whole, especially the gut-brain connection. So even though I do focus a lot on the gut-brain connection, I also focus a lot on how the nervous system reacts to your muscles because I do a lot of functional training and I teach a lot of isometric holds and things like that, and flexibility training because I work with dancers and athletes. It's important to know how the nervous system connects with all of that. And so it's really exciting to see how the nervous system and the muscles correlate together to create more flexibility and more strength. And then you've got the gut-brain connection, which is crucial if you're talking about gut health. You have to make sure that you're looking at that connection. Your gut is literally your second brain. So in that aspect, I have studied the brain. So it's pretty cool when you see everything all put together. And with that said, we will be doing a shallow dive into the nervous system. But if you would like to learn more specifically about the brain or any of the topics that we talk about today that you just want to know more about, as always, I highly recommend that you look into these. Look into the different parts that interest you the most and that give you joy. I feel like whenever you're doing research, in order to make it not seem so school-like or tedious, pick the things that give you joy, that you are truly interested in, and go for it and just look into it because that is ultimately where your passion is going to lie. So, okay, the nervous system. It is the body's command center. It contains neurons that work to send signals throughout your body 24/7. It is made up of the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves. This system controls thoughts, movement, speech, swallowing, breathing, cognitive function, and the list goes on and on and on. Your brain is literally what keeps your body going. So the nervous system is divided into two parts: the central nervous system, which contains the brain and the spinal cord. So that goes all the way down your spine. And then the peripheral nervous system, which consists of the nerves that connect to the central nervous system of the rest of the body. So if you think central nervous system is the center of your body, peripheral nervous system is that whatever extends out all the way down your fingers, all the way down to your toes. So it's pretty cool. Neurons are the body's chemical messengers. They tell the body how to react. They are very important. If you didn't have neurons, you wouldn't be able to function. The autonomic nervous system controls the actions of the body that we don't think about, such as breathing, sweating, shivering, blinking. Trying to think of other automatic things that you do, which I can't think of any right now for whatever reason. Digest, that kind of thing. This system is further divided into two parts. So your autonomic nervous system is divided into your sympathetic, which controls your fight or flight response, which is the releasing of hormones cortisol and adrenaline so that you can get away from stressful situations or situations in which you need to get away fast, dangerous situations. This is where the stress response comes in. Your fight or flight response will be heightened during any kind of physical or mental stress. And then you have your parasympathetic, which prepares the body for rest. These two balance each other out. If you have too much of one and not enough of the other, you're going to be in a problem. The parasympathetic nervous system is crucial to activate during chronic stress reactions, which is something that I am actually teaching in my stress workshops. And I also teach it to my clients directly. Anytime someone signs on with me, we always talk about stress because everyone deals with it. So these are amazing systems of operation within our body. And the whole command system of the body, you can tell why I love it so much. It's so complex, but it's also so interesting. So I did mention that there is a gut-brain connection. Well, this connection comes from the vagus nerve, which is a cranial nerve that supplies the heart, lungs, and upper digestive tract, which is your gut-brain axis, and other organs of the chest and abdomen with signals. So your body from about here up, roughly, is controlled. Excuse me. I'm drinking Olipop, by the way, so I'm trying not to burp on you guys. So this whole section in your upper body is basically controlled by the vagus nerve. It's one nerve. So the vagus nerve is a crucial part to helping your nervous system stay calm and balanced. When your vagus nerve is out of whack, usually peacefulness does not exist. So it's important to make sure that you're taking care of it. So some ways that you can actually reset the vagus nerve are really, really simple. You can do humming, singing, spending time outside barefoot, grounding. If you've never heard of that, I highly recommend looking into it. Laughing, gagging. I know it's weird, but it's true. Gagging actually stimulates it, though it's not my favorite form of resetting, so I would choose like laughing or humming or something. But also deep breathing, cold water dips. So if you dip yourself into our freezing cold pool in the backyard, that would be resetting that vagus nerve as well. And, intimacy also resets the vagus nerve as well. Sex is actually really important for a lot of different functions in the body. So all of these support the health of the vagus nerve and relax our nervous system, which is why intimacy is really important to that. But it also allows for general peacefulness and lowering levels of adrenaline and cortisol in the body that can cause chronic inflammation. So, I didn't go too deep. That was a very, very shallow dive. I want to go deeper with you guys on this because it's such an interesting topic. But I think I'm going to break it up into two parts. Because we're talking about the brain this week, I really want to just break it up into two parts. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. But if I did leave you with more questions than answers, you are always welcome to contact me. Take me up on my recommendation about looking into this fascinating topic for yourself. And I am always here to answer any questions that you guys might have that come up during these sessions, these podcast sessions. This is a very short episode, so I may have just left you with a lot of questions, especially when we're talking about the gut-brain axis. That is a huge topic that I definitely want to dig into because if your gut-brain connection is off, then your whole digestive system is off. And so that is a really important subject that we will be talking about later. But in the meantime, if you do have questions about that, please feel free to reach out. I also offer free consultations. Your first consultation is always free. So if this stuff is interesting to you and it's something that you have lots of questions about and you would like to discuss further, you are more than welcome to schedule time with me because it can get deep. There's a lot that we can talk about as far as the nervous system is concerned. But it's also fun to look at some pictures of the nervous system as well as, get a picture of what the connections look like and just how incredibly complex this system is. And so looking at pictures, just pictures, is really going to give you a good idea of how complex the brain is and how complex the nervous system is. So even if you don't do research, definitely look at some pictures, and you can see the differentiation between the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system. You can look at the autonomic nervous system and what it controls on both levels. It's just really, really fascinating to me. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I know this was short, but next week we'll be talking about hormones, which is one of the biggest parts of the body that I tackle with my clients. Like I said, I'll be breaking this up into 2 parts. We will be talking about the liver and the gut in more detail because they are so crucial to our health. They're so crucial to our hormone balance, but they're also crucial to the dysfunction in our bodies. And so we will be talking about them. I promise I will not leave you hanging on this. In the meantime, please check out my Instagram. I have been posting about all of the things that we've been discussing here on the podcast, and much, much more. We talk about a lot more on Instagram than we do here. And be sure to check my stories before they disappear. I do try to save them in highlights as much as possible, but I do try to go a little bit more in depth in some of these subjects on the podcast, but sometimes I miss something. And so if I miss something here, it usually happens to be in my stories on Instagram. So go ahead and give me a follow. If you're not part of the newsletter, I highly recommend it. It's going to be going out on Monday, next Monday, which is January 30th. January 30th is going to be the next newsletter, and that's going to contain updates for the next 2 weeks. So if you are not part of that already, be sure to sign up. It only goes out twice a month, so you're not going to get spammed with a ton of information. I promise. And if you haven't checked it out already, we do have a list of workshops that are going on throughout the year. So if you are interested in any kind of stress workshops, we're going to be talking about hormones, we got prenatal and postpartum care, diastasis recti, we're going to be talking about all of it. So be sure to check that out as well, and I'll link it in the description. And finally, this week on January 27th, if you guys are listening to this when it's uploaded, January 27th, we are doing a tea time talk. We're doing stress. You've already missed the live workshop that was happening today, yesterday. I gave away my secret. It happened yesterday on Tuesday. But the Tea Time Talk, the in-person workshop, is still going on Friday. So if you haven't purchased your tickets yet, go ahead and do that. Tea Time Talk tickets are $15 and live workshop tickets are $10. So just pick whichever one you want. We usually talk about similar subjects. And if you want more information, feel free to contact me, or you can go to the website and you can buy your tickets there as well. All in one place makes it a lot easier. So until next week, you guys, have a beautiful life. I'll talk to you later.